They had to say a certain mantra. Remember when certain words are uttered for Aladdin to enter that cave in which all of this gold and stuff exists? Something like that. So a certain world that is connected to God energy starts to open up. And then we enter that reality. And that is why the show is there. It's to get everybody into that reality of God. And not God in a religious way, where, everybody's fighting, but God in a good way. God in a great way. God in a nice way. And everything that God would represent. And then if you go to some other reality, for example, if somebody watches a lot of horror movies, what happens is that they get tuned to that frequency. And it is not a God frequency. So they get tuned to that. And they start to watch for that. And things in that energy starts to happen. Other things that are aligned to that particular energy frequency. So here on one extreme we have the God frequency, and then on this other extent we have this other dark frequency. And the Joyful Manifestation show and the Good Fortune show are connected to God frequency. They're connected to God frequency, and that is a frequency that we try to keep it in. Because there are other forces that try to interfere, correct? But we still endeavor to keep it in God frequency and have that energy delivered to you, or at least educate you about that. That the more you get into the God frequency, and I know there are many YouTube channels now which are saying, oh, this is a God frequency, and if you listen to this, you're going to be in God frequency. But trust me, yes, that's a start. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to dispute them because, how do I know, correct? But what I'm saying is more work has to be put into actually getting into that God frequency so that you have access to that energy frequency that is in that higher level. Because if somebody is watching a God frequency YouTube and then goes back and watches a couple of horror movies or, movies where everybody's fighting and this is happening and that is happening, they're disturbing their frequency, correct? You're not constantly endeavoring to be in God frequency, because being in God frequency is a journey. It's a journey and it is a goal all in itself. So being in God frequency is the goal, because once you're in God frequency, you will get everything else. But it's also a journey to get into that frequency. And that is what everybody should be endeavoring or should be trying to get into. Because while they're seeking God, if they're also playing around with other negative frequencies, the other negative frequencies are going to keep impacting or affecting this God frequency, the entry into that frequency, and staying in that frequency continuously. And that is really the job or the work that is cut out for a particular person. But once that happens, wow, it's amazing to see beauty multiplied around you again and again and again. It is amazing to see goodness happen again and again and again. And this is not about getting into God frequency and using him as an excuse to, trash other people. That's not what God frequency is about. It's not about punishing everybody else. Oh, I'm in God frequency and I'm going to use God to punish everybody else. That's not it, because that is still including negativity. That is still including negativity. That is why a lot of, people who say that, oh my God, I found Jesus, or I found this God, or I found that God, but they're still kind of behaving weird. Well, they use the name of God, correct, to engage in negativity. And that's what they're doing. So how is that really pure God frequency? And then they're like, oh, this negative thing is happening and that is happening and this is happening. Well, they're not really in God frequency because they're using God to be negative, or they're going to God and then coming back and living a weird life. And so that doesn't maintain the vibration of God. That doesn't maintain the vibration of God. Because God frequency, it's not about God himself or herself or itself. It's not about himself or herself or itself or God itself, but it's about what comes along with God. What comes along with God frequency is the goodness, the purity of mind, the kindness, but also abundance-mindedness. Because if somebody says, I'm in God frequency, and remember, none of us are claiming that we're in that frequency. We are talking about the existence of those frequencies. And, of course, then we talk about our experiences. But what I'm saying is, if somebody wants to be in God frequency, it is not about God himself or herself, but it is about being in the energy of what God represents. And from the perspective of the Joyful Manifestation Show and the Good Vibration Show, we say God is abundance. God is prosperity. God is goodness. God is well-being. God is good. And experiencing the benefits of being in that particular energy. So if one says, oh, I'm in God energy, but then it's constantly talking about all the negative things that are happening in the world. And this is poor, and that is poor, and he is poor, and, I am poor, cancel those words. That is not God energy. Because God does not intend for people to be poor, because God is abundance itself, because himself, herself, itself, because look at the planets, look at the stars, look at the moon, look at Earth and everything else, and any damage that has been done by humans. Any damage that has been done by humans, not God. And if you think of God as abundance and prosperity and goodness and wellness and everything that is great, then being in God energy means that. It doesn't mean, in Mexico recently, was it Poseidon? There's this god of the ocean statue. And I didn't read much about it, so excuse my ignorance. But the little that I read, this god of the ocean or the god of the seas, I think it was Poseidon. I'm not sure. Okay, so if it's not Poseidon, excuse me. But you can go look for that article. And it seems the locals over there, the local native, did not want that statue over there. And so they were talking about breaking it down, destroying it. Because they believed in another god of the ocean. I mean, why do we have to be so narrow-minded? Right? We could have this and we could have that too. I mean, you can't go around breaking a statue of a god and then think that it's not going to have implications just because he has the wrong title or the wrong name on it. Poseidon, I think it is Poseidon. So whatever the name is, okay, that particular god is believed in by many other people. And it's a name. It's a name. It doesn't actually change the god himself. It's just that that particular god is known in different areas of the world by different names, in different forms. That's it. He's still the god of the ocean. And so out of, lack of tolerance, to break it down, to destroy that statue. And I know they said, no, it's affecting the environment, it's affecting the ocean. Yeah, a statue of a god is affecting the ocean, right. Like there are not other many things, pollutant things that people are not doing. So what I'm trying to say is, so let's say somebody says, I support this particular God, but I'm going to destroy this God. That person is not in God energy or God vibration. That person is still engaging in his own personal feud, whether at the level of one person or a group or, a society or whatever it is. So the reason I'm explaining this is because to understand what God frequency really means makes a big difference. It is not the attachment to one particular, idol or one particular God and then, damning every other God that exists. Because that is not God frequency. That is still the ego or the negative ego, because, ego can be positive too. The negative ego engaging in its own likes and dislikes and then acting accordingly. And then how is a person supposed to be in God frequency if this person is engaging in all of these other things that is happening? And like I said, if they were really seriously concerned about the pollution factor to the waters at that point, right, then you're supposed to very respectfully give that God another position somewhere else. You're supposed to transport that God to another place. Or maybe build another structure there which is safe environmentally and then place this statue on top of that structure. There are many solutions to this than breaking down something that is supposed to represent the God of the ocean. And again, like I said, I haven't read in detail, but I did read a few words about this. And so I could be wrong about the name and certain, facts, and other people can go read it up. But if there is an environmental factor involved, you're supposed to transport that God without breaking him down, without breaking that statue, to another place, very respectfully, and then do whatever is required to give a foundation for that God over there. But that is really what should be done. And when a person starts to engage himself in all of this in a good way, then what happens? He becomes a part of the supporter of these gods. He's not using God in a negative way, but then is actually in the correct God frequency and continues to remain in it, and then enjoys the benefits of being in that particular frequency line. And so that is what we're really saying here, is that all of these, everything in the world, everything in this universe has a certain vibration. A bottle of water. Okay, see, my accent is changing, right? Because I'm Indian, grew up in India, and then lived donkey's years, so many years in America. So my accent changes. Well, a bottle of water could have different types of water in it. Very good water, extremely good water, not so good water, and below average water. So the frequency of the water itself is different. And so when in one particular element, the water element, there could be so many different frequencies, why can't that happen for other things around the world? So everything that you see is a frequency vibrating. Every movie has a vibration. Every drama serial has a vibration. And have you watched Bold and the Beautiful? OMG. Oh my God. I used to watch it before. And now I just, from time to time go to the Bold and Beautiful page, take a glance, and see what is happening with the characters. And everybody's sleeping with everybody. Everybody has had everybody's sister's husband. All kinds of permutations and combinations happening. Like, they've breached all codes. of conduct, like literally every single code of conduct or has been broken down. And now it really doesn't matter who's having a baby with who. And then you never know if that person's going to be with somebody else. And then this is happening and that is happening. And they're running a whole serial for years based on this particular line of energy. And so then there are a lot of people who get angry with it. And then some people are completely involved in the drama of it. So my thing is that it's okay to watch it. Please enjoy yourself. But always be about it. Means you're watching it, but you're not involved in it, and it's not affecting your nervous system, and you're not tuning into those realities, because then it gets attracted as a reality in one's life, in Fictitious Jane's life. So if Fictitious Jane is watching Bold and Beautiful, but she is laughing at it like, yo, what's happening? What's happening? Like, look, oh my God. And then if she's just watching it, like, just having fun, correct? This is so ridiculous. Or, okay, her dress is nice, her hair is nice, she's got a good figure. Oh, he looks great. I mean, this guy looks awesome. And, they're looking at the beautiful things in Bold and Beautiful, like the fashion, I mean, to whatever extent that people accept it or not. But if they get involved in the drama and they're busy getting angry or they're busy crying at it or believing in it and then actually engaging in it, but not from a higher level of observation, but actually getting into the drama and then, oh my God, it's so real. I feel like this and I feel like this. And why did he do this? And why did he do that? And once they start to engage in it fully, they're drawing that into their own life, because it's a vibration. By virtue of engaging in it, it becomes real. It becomes real. And then what happens is that it starts to become reality for a person. So even while watching Bold and Beautiful or another serial like that, it's so important to know, like, okay, I'm watching this because I like their dresses, though a lot of people don't like the dresses they wear. But still, I'm sure there's something good. I'm watching this because I like the dresses. I'm watching this because they look nice. They look great. Oh, this guy looks hot. This woman looks awesome, and her hair is great. And I love her eyes, her lips, her shape is so nice. I wish I could find the lipstick that would make my lips look like hers. Or his lips are great. So awesome. Or I like how they went to this particular place and look at how this place is. I like how they work out and look so good. If somebody watches it like that, or if the serial itself is, and oh my God, this scene is so funny. How can somebody even be like that? Like, the eye roll. Like, you're watching it from a place of humor and you're not actually believing it. And I get angry when I see women behave like this. I get angry when I see men behave like this. Oh, how could Brooke do this? What kind of woman is Brooke? Like, why does she do this? Why does Rich do this? And why does Steffi do this and do that? And I'm so angry because this reminds me of a person in my life who did this and who did that. Then that becomes a reality that gets sucked in. That gets sucked in. Because there's a lot of things in Bold and Beautiful that one does not want in one's life. So, on the first level, better to avoid the soap. On the second level, if one is watching it, watch it for the right reasons. To watch pretty faces, to watch handsome men, to watch great clothes. Again, I'm not trying to say they're pretty or they're handsome. But if somebody likes it, then if they watch it, then they're watching it for that. Or that they find it extremely funny. Just everybody acting like cartoons and doing all kinds of weird things that nobody ever wants in their life. And like, oh my God, I am so happy that my life is not like this. And I feel so good that my life is so great and it is nothing like the serials that come out or like the movies that come out. So a very, very different perspective. And all of this affects a person's vibration. Everything that we like, everything that we tune into, tuning mechanisms, tuning into, gets drawn in, whether we like it or not. So any deep, strong emotion or feeling that goes out from us in response to something that we have seen, heard, smelled, tasted, will draw back more of the same. Will draw back more of the same because we're involved in its drama. Because we think it's real. And it becomes reality. Now, if you like it, then sure. I mean, when I say like it, I mean, for example, Bold and Beautiful. Let's take it for serial Bold and Beautiful. I applaud their success, don't get me wrong. I like their success. I like the fact that many of the stars are still acting in it and they're doing well. So those are the things that I look for personally. I'm like, oh, this Brooke, she's this actress. She has been in the serial for so long, and that's amazing. That's a great career to have, to be recognized and known and to be appreciated for years, whether we like her character, Brooke, or not in the serial itself. But the actress has done well, personally. So, I mean, those are the things which I look at personally. And then, so when we are looking at something and we like it, but we like it and we feel good about it, then that's fine. But if we like it because it's terrible and it makes us feel bad and we like feeling bad, then that's not fine. Then that's not fine. And this is where each person listening has to be their own supervisor, creating your own filters and micromanaging or getting into the nitty-gritty of what it is that you're accepting into your reality and what it is that you can push out. By virtue of monitoring whether you like it in a good way or you like it in a bad way. Just like if somebody likes a horror movie. Oh, I like it. Oh my God, it makes me feel so scared. I feel scared when this happens. I feel scared when that happens. Okay, then why are you watching it? Do you like fear? Oh, you like fear. Well, the universe is going to give more fear, more reasons for fear, and it'll happen in reality. It's not just going to be that you went to the movie theater and you left your fear behind. All of that gets into a person's aura. The aura is recording energies. It's storing energies. Chakras are busy pulling it in. The aura is storing it for future manifestation. Whether the future is in a second or later, but it's storing. So when a person is his own filtering mechanism or system, then you can continue to monitor what it is that you really like. For example, a scented candle, incense, sandalwood incense, jasmine incense, lavender bath products, mint itself, the leaves, and mint infused products, certain shampoos that have certain amazing Fragrances. There's a particular shampoo that has a lot of mint in it, and I love it. And I love the tingly feeling it has on my scalp. So whenever I can get my hands on it, I love it. It feels really good. And so these are the likes that one likes liking. It makes us feel good. That's why they have these aroma treatments, therapy, massages, all of these great things. And then as you fine tune your filtering system, you become a connoisseur of these things. I like the smell of this particular perfume. It's light, it's not heavy. I like the smell of the shampoo. I like the smell of this candle. I like the smell of this incense. I like the smell of this food. It smells great. I like looking at these sceneries. I like wearing these clothes. They feel really good on me. And the carpet that I spoke about the last time, so amazing, so light, so amazing. And so knowing all of this, that we are creating our own good fortune, and depending on what we like in the like way, like I like it, like it. I like it, like it. I like or I love liking it. I like loving it. And if you take it to a relationship, then I like loving this guy. I like how it feels when I love this guy. I appreciate him. And it's not an angry love. It's a good love. I like how it feels when I'm around him. I like his scent. I like how it's, the fragrance of him. And the same that a man can feel towards a woman. I like liking her. I like loving her. It feels good. I love liking her. I love loving her. It feels good. So a big difference from the fiery, how they call angry love. Of course, even if it is that type of love, we can fix it. We can do something. So feel, free to contact me or read Joyful Manifestation and get into good vibes, because, that is what we want to create for you. And we are approaching the end of our show today. We will be meeting again for the Joyful Manifestation show next Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So until then, just work on your filtering mechanisms, your filtering system, and see whether you really liking something and knowing what it is that you're allowing into your reality. This is Sugandhi Iyer signing off for the Good Fortune Show today, and looking forward to meeting with all of you next week, and wishing you a fantastic rest of the day.